And his feet moved really well. He's had good technique with his batting. Certainly does not look like.
Um, that intent bit is just so important. You look.
सिङ्गापुर भर्सेस मलेसियाको गेम भइरहेको छ जसमा मलेसियाले 92 रन 9 विकेटको क्षतिमा 18.3 ओभर सिङ्गापुरले मलेसियालाई हराए नेपाललाई अझ राम्रो हुनेछ अथवा मलेसियाले सिङ्गापुरलाई हराए पनि नेपाललाई फाइदा हुनेछ सकर थोरै रनमा आउट गरे क्याच आउट भएको छ सिङ्गापुरले मलेसिया अल आउट भएको छ 92 रनमा 18.4 ओभरमा हेलो
नमस्कार आदरणीय दर्शकवृन्द,
सुबिनहरु अहिले हाफ भइरहेको छ। सिङ्गापुरले जिते अझ राम्रो हुनेछ नेपालका लागि ग्लोबल क्वालिफायरको लागि र नेपालले दुवै खेल जित्नुपर्ने हुन्छ कुवेत र सिङ्गापुरलाई। त्यसैले आज सिङ्गापुरले जुनै हालतमा पनि जित निकाल्नु पर्नेछ। हेरौँ 92 को टार्गेट 93 को टार्गेट दिएको छ मलेसियाले, त्यो के गर्नेछ एकैछिनपछि थाहा भइहाल्नेछ। र अब फेरि गेम सुरु हुन लागेको छ। 93 को टार्गेट दिएको छ मलेसियाले सिङ्गापुरलाई। हेरौँ के हुन्छ र कसले अस्ट्रेलियामा हुने वर्ल्ड कपको लागि T20 वर्ल्ड कपको लागि छनौट हुनेछ। खेल सुरु भइसकेको छ। मलेसियाले बोलिङ गरिरहेको छ। हेरौँ सिङ्गापुरले के गर्ने। पहिलो बल डट फालेको छ। ओहो विकेट लिएका छन् पहिलो ओभरमै। पहिलो ओभरको 3 बलमा नेपिला क्रिस्टीले मलेसियाको लागि यो पहिलो सफलता र सिङ्गापुरलाई पहिलो झड्का। यसरी खेल्यो भने त नेपाललाई गाह्रो हुनेछ। सिङ्गापुरले टिकेर हराएमा राम्रो हुनेछ। नेपालका लागि यो पक्कै पनि सुखद खबर भन्ने होइन, किनभने सिङ्गापुरले जसरी पनि हराउनु पर्नेछ मलेसियालाई, तब मात्र नेपाललाई राम्रो हुनेछ। ग्लोबल T20 छनौटका लागि। कृपया हामीलाई सब्स्क्राइब गरिदिनु होला, किनभने आउँदो दिनहरू खेर पनि तपाईँहरूलाई म यसरी नै प्रत्यक्ष लाइभ गर्नेछु। भोलि रहेको छ नेपाल र कुवेत बिचको खेल, बिहान 7:15 बजे। तिब्बतीले चौका हानेका छन् सिङ्गापुरको लागि। पहिलो ओभर सकिएको छ, 4 रन 1 विकेटको क्षतिमा 1 ओभर। दोस्रो ओभरको पहिलो बल डट बल खेलेका छन्। चौथो बलमा 1 रन। इसाद एजिजले बोलिङ गरिरहेका छन् मलेसियाका र सिङ्गापुरका सुरेन्द्रनले 4 बल खेल्दै 1 रन ल्याएका छन् र टिमोथीले 3 रन खेल्दै 4 रन। र यो 5औं बल र 1 रन ल्याउन सफल भए। र दोस्रो ओभर पनि सकिएको छ। दोस्रो ओभरमा मात्र 2 रन ल्याउन सफल भए। इसाद एजिजको एकदमै कसिलो बलिङ र यो चौका ब्रिलियन्ट सट। तेस्रो ओभरको पहिलो बलमै चौका हान्न सफल भए टिमोथीले र फेरि दोस्रो बलमा पनि चौका। र यो दोस्रो बल फ्री हिटमा चौका हानेका छन्। सिङ्गापुरको 16 रन 1 विकेट क्षतिमा 2.2 ओभर र स्ट्राइकमा आएका छन् सुरेन्द्रन। उनले 5 बल खेल्दै 1 रन
That was very nicely played. It was
र
really unexpected where
2 रन लिन सफल
those fielders
भएका छन्।
were.
Yes, it's just coming back. It's really important for youngsters to be extremely disciplined with their cricket. I see a lot of youngsters struggling
सुरेन्द्रनले 6 बल खेल्दै 3 रन लिन सफल भएका
because
छन्
sometimes
र ओभर
they
2.3
get
ओभर।
caught up in the previous game, or sometimes during other games, and the wrong T-shirts being bought. So it's really important for them to have a lot of discipline, and that shows that they appreciate the game
यो
as
चौथो
well.
बल सामना गर्दैछन्।
Run out, and it's very close, and he's gone.
Direct hit.
Direct hit from
ल रन आउट
Tim
भएका छन्
Davis, and the batsman, and Tim Davis is run out. That's a massive setback for the
टिमोथी
Australian player. Oh, he
This
was a long way.
definitely a big bit of miscommunication because
मलेसियाका
it
लागि यो
seemed as
दोस्रो
though this was
सफलता
the one from the word
रन
go.
आउट भएका छन् टिमोथी।
Maybe that initial first
बिल्कुलै
spin
यो राम्रो
to look for that run
भने
because
होइन।
the ball had gone straight to the fielder. He hadn't moved. Um,
One thing that I picked out when Tim Davis came in, as soon as he faced the first ball, he was communicating to his team, okay, this is what the ball did, it's coming in or it's moved out, and that communication looks like something that Tim Davis relishes. We see other parts of the cricket, and he doesn't even use this ball as an example. He's seeing it from the other side, and it's an important part of cricket.
2.4
He's doing
ओभरमा 2
very
विकेट
well behaving.
लिन सफल भयो मलेसियाले।
Experience sometimes is a bit of
र
a
नेभिल्ला
concern
क्रिस्टीले 2 ओभर
yes,
दुई
and it
विकेट
really comes
लिन
down
सफल
to
भयो।
the hours you put in practice as well. Uh, and if you look at it overall with Tim just coming into the setup, uh, from that running between the wickets point of view, most of the other batters in Singapore are quite used to each other's running styles.
just to match the exact same setup. We see so we know Surendra's going to be in the setup.
टिकेर खेल्नु पर्यो।
Coming back, so I represented the UA under 15 for the first part of when I started playing cricket, and that was under the guidance of Syed Adil
टिकेर
Khan,
खेल्नु पर्यो
who's
सिङ्गापुरका खेलाडीहरू।
a cricketer. And moving on from there, I went on to captain the under 17s Bangladesh, which is
Wow.
which is playing with qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers. So yeah, it was a fantastic experience because the likes of Martin
केही
Guptill,
आत्तिनुपर्ने छैन, सिङ्गापुरका खेलाडीहरू बिस्तार आरामले खेले हुन्छ,
Mustafa Rahim representing Bangladesh, and
किनभने
Kohli
त्यति धेरै टार्गेट
from
छैन,
England.
जम्मा 93 रन हो।
Both
त्यसैले टिकेर
playing smart. It's
आरामसँगले खेल्दै
done
हुन्छ।
really well in their careers with their respective nations. Is just fantastic to see.
Oh, that's amazing. There's definitely at least half a dozen stories there that can I can
चौथो बल
Shut
चौथो ओभरको पहिलो ओभरमा 1 रन ल्याएका छन्।
I would just say that certainly that sort of upbringing sort of helped me get that guidance. And here you've going back to the setup here in Singapore, you've in all the other nations, both all the other nations, I'm sure their coaching panels got very clever
दोस्रो बल डट
playing the games in the right way. Here you've got Bilal, you've got Arjun Menon, you've got Jamal, all of them sort of picking from really making a huge difference
There
in
you go. That was
र लामो
beautiful shot
प्रहार
by Surinder.
inside out.
लामो
Inside
प्रहार
out.
गरेका छन्, बाउन्ड्री छोएका छन्, चौका
Almost made it look like Dhoni's helicopter there.
चौका हानेका
He
छन्
finished it
सिङ्गापुरका खेलाडीले।
with that swing.
The only difference is football went the other direction.
Now, runs are runs.
सिङ्गापुर
Interesting when you
खेलाडीहरू
talk about the youngsters bit and having that
गेम चाँडै सघाउन चाहिरहेका छन्।
down the ground for a single. I have had these discussions
र 1 रन
on several occasions with a lot of my mates here in Singapore. And
मनप्रित स्ट्राइकमा आएका छन्।
what's peculiar about
फिफ्टी
Singapore
मोहम्मद साम
is just how
बलिङ
much
गरिरहेका छन्।
it makes people comfortable, including the kids.
मलेसियाका खेलाडी
You don't have that real struggle, say somewhere like a Bombay, where you have to travel by the train for 4 hours just to get training. Everything paced better single behind square. Brings the score to 24 for 2. Decent start. Of course, they would have not wanted to lose those 2 wickets, but that's part of the game. So bringing it back into it, I mean, a place like Perth or Sydney, you would still be driving normal competitors. They drive half an hour, 40 minutes to training. Another single.
Really good batting by Surendran and three batsmen at crease. All of them edging the ball, grabbing the singles, just knowing that big shot's not required, and playing the square like they wanted to do. So good, intelligent batting.
And taking advantage of the bad ones. That's exactly the basics. You want to stay on top. And if you look at it, like for like, at this stage, Singapore has definitely
4 ओभर सकिएको छ।
dictated the strike
26
a lot
रनको
more, which is
26 रन 2
in
विकेट
the end
क्षतिमा
will be to their benefit.
र 5 ओभर
But yeah, so then again, talking about that bit here, I mean,
स्ट्राइकमा
it's
रहेका छन् मनप्रित।
easy to get around. It's so easy to hop into that Uber 10-minute ride. Everything's done at home with all the helpers in most of the cases.
It's wide down leg side. They go for the single and manage to sneak in a run as well. So that's 2 runs without a ball being bowled this innings. Good catch. Yeah, there is that convenience factor here, but
वाइडको
so
स्याहारा गरेका छन्
important when it comes to sporting. When it comes
एम्पायरले।
to sporting, everyone for various sports, not just cricket, should go through that rigor. And it's really important because that sets the foundation for a good sporting career. And that is something that all kids watching should make sure that they push themselves and they go at 100% every time they're at training, and they also know when to execute the skills and when they have to sort of be a little bit conservative as well. So it's really important for kids to understand, and that only comes through sports. You can see some coaches just don't carry that sort of thing. But what kids can do is to bring the right attitude, and
That's it.
that attitude is what will take them to the next level.
You read my mind on that one as I was about to state exactly that. Driven hard down the ground by Surinder for a dot ball there. 29 for 2, Singapore 4.2.
Yeah, good shot by Surendra for no run. He's someone who does not probably have the best technique, but can extremely effective and can play a long way. He was the top bang spinner for Singapore was the team run scorer for the T20 qualifiers just before this tournament for Singapore, and hence would be also entering this tournament with a lot of confidence.
And he knows the pitch like the back of his hand. It's something that actually he keeps in his back pocket. If you ask me, I've seen him score a number of centuries on this ground at will. There was one that I remember distinctively, where he scored 100 with that ball there out to point or Baldwin Point, where it was a reduced T20 to 12 overs because of rain, and he scored a century in the 9th or the 10th over, and he'd opened the innings. So he knows
Unreal.
this pitch really well.
As Neville Christie comes into the crease to make a drive on the offside for no run. I really like Singapore leadership. The veteran Tony Bowling comes in and gets the ball back into the right-hander. The moment you see someone who's starting to dictate turns to get on top of him, he sort of loses his direction a little bit. But here, the batsman's playing a little bit more conservatively, and he's come back on top to the off-finger space, which is pitching the ball right up and sending it in.
Yes, could just straight back to the bowler, just help him to try and avoid those wides. Never helps the bowler's cause. 5 overs gone, 30 for 2, folks. As
20 रन 2 विकेटको क्षतिमा 5 ओभर
Surinder
सकिएको
takes
छ।
a quick sip of water in
अब
this heat.
सिंगापुरलाई चाहिएको छ
This heat is quite sapping, Cash.
Yes, the humidity.
90 बलमा
You know, when I first moved here,
मात्र
I always tell
63 रन।
people this story. I used to get really annoyed when I was out walking on the streets because I just thought people walk so slowly in this place. Then 5 minutes later, I would be all sweaty. It's like I had to go home to have a shower and change my shirt. That's when I figured out this is why they walk so slowly, and I started doing that. So yes, it is the heat can be sapping. You can see Chetan Suryawanshi's dad there in the white shirt. Single stolen to mid-wicket.
Said Aziz coming in for his second over, had a decent first over just for 3 runs. He's become a well-known figure here in Singapore, Cash. He's, as I mentioned before, in a Premier Division game against CSC, scored a 200, which is not very common these days. Had an absolute ball on the field, and nice contributing from Malaysia with the ball.
Yeah, it was again another one of those almost like slower. You slow down the pace of that ball. Singapore going along nicely so far. Driven out to mid-on for another single. Keeps us, or brings us back to that bit about the importance of rotating strike. Another thing all the youngsters out there should be looking at this Singapore approach to try to inculcate that in their games.
Surrender just did over there was something very typical to him. Tends to gain some momentum by lifting his front leg. Not a proven technique for batsmen around the world, but does him well.
That's what and absolutely marooned that one. And that's a 6.
र छक्का प्रहार गरेका छन् सुरेन्द्रनले।
Bang. Almost ended up as a flat 6.
छैटौं ओभरको 5औं बलमा
after lifting his leg, he ends up in the same position.
छक्का हानिदिएका छन् र
Lifting his leg, but it's just that it gives him
38
that
रन
momentum.
बनाएका छन्
Yes, but see that's
दुई
the
विकेट
thing that they say, right? You talk about bowlers and you think of Jasprit Bumrah.
5
When
फिट 5
certain
ओभर
things work for certain batsmen, just don't tinker with it.
यही लयमा सिंगापुरले
This
खेल्ने हो भने
Cash
त
reminds me of
10 ओभरमै गेम
George
सकाउने
Bailey stance
जस्तो
against
देखिरहेको छ तर
He
नाति
just
खेले हुन्छ
kept getting
किनभने
stranger
20
and
ओभर हो
stranger with
मलाई
that
6 ओभर सक्यो
with that stance, didn't he?
Yeah, the one where he was where his bottom was facing the bowler.
That's right. But he did manage some runs too, so that was the other interesting part.
It'd be interesting to show the public what we're talking about. Not sure if that's possible.
We will find out. Okay, 6 overs gone, 38 for 2 folks. You know, when you were talking earlier about attitude and having that right attitude, Sharon, I was reading this article about a young lady who is a world champion in fencing for Singapore in the junior ranks. Nicely bowled by Anwar for a dot. Folks, Sharon has just stepped away from the mic. He is trying to get us that image on the live feed of George Bailey's stance that we were discussing earlier. But talking about that attitude bit about bringing that 100% to the field every single time. Not ball again. Not every day is the same, of course. And there will be days when you may not feel 100%. However, driven to the onside for a single. That's the first run in this over on the 4th ball. That's probably one of the slowest starts to an over so far for Singapore. Dot ball to short cover. So yeah, on those days, this young lady was talking about those days when she wouldn't feel at her best, where she wouldn't feel like she wanted to be there because of whatever reason, but at the same time she would bring it back for herself by reminding her or herself that regardless, I am here, so I should be giving that 100%. And that's what always kept her going. And that's the attitude bit which is required if you want to succeed.
It's all about controlling the controllables, Cash. So if you've got something within your control, give it 100%. If that are not in your control, you leave it out.
Spot on, Sharon.
And so I have been successful in sourcing the images. And we were talking about how certain people have certain habits, and if it works for them, they tend to stick with it. So I'm not sure if viewers have shortly, and we can just talk through that a bit, Cash.
That sounds good. Always good to get different perspectives, and definitely when it comes to that George Bailey stance, though, I wouldn't recommend to any youngster out there to attempt it personally.
So Chandrammohan pulls that ball to deep square leg. very close to rolling onto his own wickets at that ball. 1 run scored. Siadat is a new bowler coming from Malaysia. Bowls offies.
So, what is your area of specialty on the cricket field, Sharon?
Absolutely nothing, Cash.
Just that you turned up and captained UAE under 17. There's the stands.
There's the stands, folks. So in 2017, George Bailey's stance was the one extreme left. We'll come back to that in a second. Short ball. And they've managed to scamper through for a run as well. Leg by. So yeah, that's the stance, folks. So 2017, George Bailey said, this is how I'm going to stand, because it just prevents him from opening up. And then following year, he turned even more to show the bowler his backside, which is what really worked for him. And great shot by Manpreet. 1 run scored. The following year, he turned his body a bit further and started scoring even more runs. And there was a running joke with the Australian team that at one point he'd be facing square leg.
Straight to the bowler by Surendran. That was a dot ball to complete the over. 8 gone, 44 for no loss. Singapore cruising along nicely over here in this match.
The other image that was thrown up was Shivnarayan Ryan Chandapal's stance, and that's a stance that he's been batting with for a very long. In fact, he still plays first-class cricket and he bats that way.
Oh yes, I think he's batted like that his whole career.
Absolutely.
But then he has that. He moves across as the bowler is just about to bowl. So.
Up in the air, falls safe, and they go through for 2 runs after Misfield at long off.
Nice looking shot there by Manpreet.
So we were talking about a lot of technically sound batsmen like your Callis of the world, your Kohlis of the world. They have a trigger movement. So that's just the trigger movement for them before they can come back into the action and make a shot.
That's exactly the word I was trying to look for. Getting old here, folks.
That's why we're commentating with each other, Cash, to help each other out.
I'm definitely glad you're here, Sharon.
Manpreet hit that ball to long on. He's certainly one of the better players of spin going around in the Singapore side.
Oh yes, and a hard-working cricketer too. Again, if we bring it back into youngsters, especially the youngsters here in Singapore, I'm always watching Manpreet Singh. He's also part of the Singapore coaching setup for the youngsters. Very sincere, honest cricketer and coach for the youngsters.
Well fielded, great fielding and mid-wicket by Fitri.
He didn't quite connect it though. I thought that shot.
Nah, went through a bit early with the shot. Lucky to keep it onto the ground, but no damage caused. I really like the looks of Anwar. Really good action. Nice and energetic.
Energetic and easy. 9 overs gone. 48 for 2, folks. Malaysian fans, bring on the cheer for your team online. Ask all your friends. Share the feed. Ask them to come and support. Send that energy through the internet to your cricket team to come out there and pull up something from their reserves to make this game more interesting. At this stage, it's looking a one-way street.
Malaysia, a country with some decent, in fact, world-class facilities in the form of the Kinrara Oval, the Biomass Oval, and the turf pitch at the university.
Oh yeah, as well as the Royal Selangor Cricket Club ground as well. Beautiful, beautiful grounds over in Malaysia. They look after them well as well. And having said that, I must say, with the amount of cricket that the IA ground gets in Singapore, constantly you have to doff your hat to the ground staff here at IA, especially Apana and Yusuf. They work hard day in, day out to get contests happening here. And this is something that goes unrecognized. Generally, we take our ground.
Take it for granted.
Yes, we do, as there's still another single. So yes, thank you to both our groundsmen and all other ground staff here at IA for keeping the ground in such good condition. Especially out at night here, folks. It is a beautiful sight, this ground under lights.
Saviran Deep Singh coming to the attack. Bowls his left arm spin. More of a arm bowler rather than a big turner of the ball. Has a bit of a sidearm action rather than your traditional over-the-top bowling of your peak.
Yeah, it just seems like he just sort of pushes the ball through.
Yeah, similar to Vinod in terms of just trying to target the batsman's pads. Great sweep shot by Manpreet. He should get 4 for that. Oh, that's really well fielded.
Brilliant fielding out at cow corner.
Great fielding. Keep the batsman to 2. Yeah, he targets your pads, but he's not a big turner of the ball, whereas Vinod, for that matter, considering he's more the up and over right from the very top, he targets the pads but gets the ball to turn away as well. So different bowlers, but sort of hitting the same length.
And played inside.
Beautiful
out.
shot by Manpreet. That's his go-to shot. It's a class act when he's actually playing over the infield through the offside.
I tell you what, though, I wasn't aware of the field. I'm certainly glad he was when he played that shot. I almost had my heart in my mouth going, okay, where is the fielder?
Yeah, he's a great player through the offside. In fact, he is... him and Anish are probably your 360 player in the Singapore squad, and they play all shots effortlessly.
Oh, yes.
Singapore certainly benefited with a lot of the expats coming into Singapore and to form part of their cricketing setup. You've got your homegrown talent in the form of Janak and Rohan.
Janak, Rohan, Anish, even Reza.
Yep.
So they definitely complement each other well.
But you've certainly got the likes of Surendra Chandramohan, played by Surendra Mohan. Great shot for 4 runs through covers, making batting look really easy. It's the way the Singaporean batsmen have approached the innings, very different to the Malaysian batsmen, but at the same time it looks like they're batting on a very different surface. Probably a bit more brave than the Malaysian batsmen, you would say.
Oh yes, I mean, isn't that why they say fortune favours the brave? If you look at that intent side of it, intent both taking the singles and intent with wanting to put that right ball away, which is there to be put away. Sticking to the basics.
Absolutely, shot selection has been a massive part of the team so far.
And as I was highlighting to you earlier, for those who've just recently joined in, this is Surendran's home ground. He carries this pitch in his back pocket. Just knows the two-paced nature of this pitch. ball. Good comeback by Shahadat. Singapore now only needs 32 runs. Ho ho ho! Surendran! He's certainly woken the crowd up. The ball has landed in the ground next door, outed. Deep square or sort of behind square. That's surrender for you folks. When he gets going, there is no stopping him. In the first game as well, he scored, I believe, about 47 or 48. So he's been in good nick. Certainly positions Singapore well for the last match that they're playing against Nepal. Nepal is, of course, the highest ranked team in this tournament, in this ICC World T20 qualifiers Asia finals. Only the top team will go through to the next round, which will then decide the winners who will go and play the T20 World Cup in Australia next year. So a lot at stake here for all the teams, and none of the teams can afford to lose any of their matches. So Singapore will be happy if they can now go on to win this match comfortably, which will also help with their run rate. Malaysian fans, don't give up though, as we have seen over many cricket games. A quick couple of wickets and things can change very quickly.
It's going to be tough, Cash. A couple of more wickets I don't think should really make the difference as well, because of Singapore's really strong batting lineup. Like I said, it's really important when playing against Singapore that teams try and take advantage of Singapore's bowling, but batting is something where I'm pretty sure Singapore can compete with some of the top associate teams because of the depth.
Oh yes, look, I would have to agree with you completely on that one, as that one's played out for a single by Surendran. But cricket's a funny game. I remember watching a game, IA versus CSC, I think it was Division 2 or Division 3, and CSC needed 7 runs, 4 wickets in hand, and they lost the game by 1 run.
Wow.
On this very ground. And the funniest thing was, I was watching with my son, and there was a couple of his friends there too, if I recall correctly, and I said, and they were like, okay, this game's done. I said, well, you know what, you never know till the last run is scored. And literally a couple of wickets fell straight after, and bang, the game just completely turned on its head.
Yes, absolutely. Cash, it's 4:24 p.m. here in Singapore. A lot of the public will be signing off from Friday and finishing up work. We'll be tuning in just to see what's happened with the games as Chandramohan
Gets another boundary.
another boundary onto the leg side.
That was a gift, really,
Absolutely.
that ball. And Surendran makes the most of it.
So I thought it would be a good opportunity just to go through the proceedings that has happened through the first innings. So Malaysia batting first, scored 92 runs. Virendip Singh scoring 17, Mohammad Ziyadat scoring 22, and Shafiq Sharif scoring 12, and Aminuddin Ramli getting 12 as well. The rest in single digits. From the bowling front, Amjad Mahmood and Ananta Krishna picking up 3 wickets each, and Salador bowling a miserly spell of 4 overs, 2 for 11. Janak and Vinod Bhaskaran picking up 1 wicket each. With Singapore, we've lost 2 wickets, and Rohan Rangarajan getting bowled in the first over of the Singapore innings.
Very unusual for him.
And Timothy David getting run out, which could have caused a bit of a hiccup, but now these two batsmen have done really well. They steadied the innings, and they're looking to cruise to a convincing victory here for Singapore.
Indeed. They're going to put us out of our job a lot earlier today, Sharon.
I'm not going to complain.
You've obviously got as beautiful drive straight down the ground, straight past the bowler, motored along for a 4 by Surendran. They're in a hurry now. And Surendran, the way he plays, would also be looking to go for that 50. He always likes to convert his starts. 78 for 2.
Why do I think he's going to go for another big one here, Cash?
And there you go. Well, didn't quite connect it in the end. I thought he would have launched that ball out onto the other side of the ground, but anyway.
The snake field.
But anyway, I don't think he will complain. He's retained strike. Bringing in their fast bowler, Fitri Muhammad Sham. Oh, my apologies. Was that the...
Yeah, it's Muniandi. That's come into the bowling attack.
I'm sure Surendran's going to try to knock the ball out of the park. Down the leg side. Again, that little dance from Surendran. Perhaps he wants to tell the bowler that he's here to party on the crease. Make most of every ball by whacking them all around the park.
He has absolutely
smoked it.
That's gone on to the roads at Balestier for sure.
Yes, I'm sure we're going to see the umpire or the third umpire running to the field with the box of cricket balls happening right as we speak.
Hey Cash, would you have a count of the number of balls that's been lost in the tournament so far?
I've only just come in, but today, because I was actually overseas and traveling, so I haven't seen much of the games either, so that's why I'm also happy that you're here today. Well, today's game we've lost 2. It's not surprising though, as we were talking earlier, not a big ground. And some of these guys are big hitters.
Nicely played down to long off. In one of the practice games where Singapore were playing the PK Gladiators, in just one of those T20 games they had lost 9 balls.
Wow. Would that be some kind of a record, one would think?
I would like to think so. And that was just one game, and the PK Gladiators were here for a month. So they played 5 50-over games and 5 T20s as well. So I'm sure there was a lot of balls floating around.
I reckon they should actually approach the Guinness Book of World Records to see if there is such a record. And if it isn't, then they should look to register it.
Considering this is an international game as well, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
You might want to take that up with Saad, Cash.
Yes. There you go again, that little dance of the front leg. look at that. They just keep rotating strike, keep bringing in the big ones, and now only 4 runs needed. Manpreet on strike. Is he going to try and finish it off this ball?
I don't think so. Surendran's batting on 49. Might want to give him the chance to get his 50. It's always prestigious to be getting a 50, especially when you're playing an international T20.
Oh yes. Look, I would have to agree, and also agree with you that yes, I am sure Manpreet will allow his senior partner to get that 50. They're going to take at least 2 there. Yep, Surendran retains strike with 2 needed. I'd love to see him finish it off in style at this start of the next over. Folks, as this game is drawing to a close, there are 2 more games tomorrow, and as I was mentioning earlier, all important games. I'm just about to bring up the schedule for you so I can tomorrow it's going to be 9:30 a.m. Singapore time, Kuwait versus Nepal, and 2 p.m. is Malaysia versus Qatar. With this loss, I think Malaysia would be pretty much out of this tournament because they've lost another game as well, if I recall correctly. However, important enough games for both Qatar and Kuwait and Nepal tomorrow.
And that's the 50 for Surendran. 50 of 42 balls. Massive effort from him.
He will be happy with that one. After the first match, I had seen a post from him about having scored 47, missing out on the 50, but very happy that the team had won. This was on Facebook. So I'm sure he's happy going 1 up today. Well played, Surendran.
This would be the first 50 for a Singaporean international in international T20.
There you
and
go,
that's the
and
winning shot for
Manpreet
Manpreet.
Singh in style. Brilliantly played by Singapore, won by 8 wickets. Surendran not out on 50, Manpreet Singh 26 of 28. He will be happy with that time in the middle too, with that important game coming up against Nepal.
That'll be a cracker of a game on Sunday.
Oh yes, indeed. And depending on Nepal's results tomorrow, it will, if Nepal win tomorrow, it will essentially end up being a virtual final on Sunday between Singapore and Nepal. They've kept the best game to the last, and there's the excited crowd also in the pavilion balcony there. All of them happy faces with this performance from Singapore today.
Yeah, Singapore will be extremely happy with the way they've gone in the tournament so far. It's been 3 out of 3 for them.
Folks, thank you for tuning in. The man of the match will be coming up shortly. Who would be your man of the match?